Exam Stress Guide for Parents by the Emotional Wellbeing Team at Medway Community Healthcare School Nursing. In this presentation, we're going to cover what exam stress is, what's normal and what's not, practical tips you can take, and helpful things that you can say. What's normal? Feeling stress or pressure over exams is not always a bad thing. In fact, a little can be helpful. Small amounts of stress can help us focus better and perform better on the day. Everyone is different. Some people thrive under stress and others really struggle. Some children take exams in their stride and don't seem to be affected by the stress. Others may need more support during this time. Think of a little exam stress a bit like an athlete before a competition. They need that little adrenaline boost to perform at their peak, and our brains are exactly the same. So what might a healthy amount of stress look like during exam time? Seeming a bit more preoccupied with revising or doing well, perhaps being a little shorter-tempered or easily frustrated, being hungry or sleeping a little more, or it could also be the opposite of this. It can even look like they're not bothered at all, which isn't to be confused with not trying or not caring about their performance. It just means they're taking things in their stride. So what might unhealthy exam stress look like? It could look like excessive crying, being very irritable, panic attacks, complaining of physical symptoms, lots such as headaches, stomach aches, racing hearts, etc. Not sleeping well or eating a lot more or a lot less than normal, completely withdrawing from any social activities, expressing feelings of hopelessness and doom. The key here is if things seem excessive. A little amount is okay. Excessive is a clue they might need a little more help. So what practical tips might you want to use during your child's exam time? Help them to create a vision timetable. This helps to keep revision structured and helps to stop them getting too fixated on one subject. Be sure to build in breaks and rewards and do not make it longer than the school day. Healthy body, healthy mind. Under times of mental stress, making sure we are looking after our physical health is even more important. Trying to maintain a balanced diet and good sleep. Make sure where they're revising is appropriate, somewhere with minimal disturbance, organised and relaxed. So going into some of these details a little bit more, speak to your child about how their brain learns best when putting together the timetable. Some children prefer a 20-minute burst, followed by a quick break, and then back to it. Others may prefer a solid hour and then a longer break. Having a timetable that works with how your child learns best is much more likely to motivate them. It can be tempting to go for high caffeine or sugar energy drinks, but these can actually have the opposite effect in children and result in less focus, more sleepiness, and can cause digestive issues and headaches. Make sure that revision comes to an end well before bedtime so the brain has a chance to wind down and enjoy something else before bed. Late night cramming can have a negative effect and they'll benefit more from a few hours sleep rather than staying up until 2 a.m. Some people work better with background noise, such as music or white noise, but be sure then it's not distracting instead. Speak to your child about what works for them. Sometimes it's hard to know what to say, or we feel like whatever we say isn't right, so here are some ideas. Remind them that whilst the result is important, it's not the be-all and end-all, although it may feel like that at the time. Validate their feelings. It is a stressful time, and it's okay if they're finding this hard or feeling overwhelmed. Exams can always be resat or even revisited at a later time in life. Despite what they may be told, you don't only get one shot. Results are only a stepping stone, and they're not the only path. Plenty of people don't get the grades they want and go on to be just as successful as they would have been if they did get the grades. So whilst it's helpful if you can do well the first time, it's not the end of the road if you don't. Can you remember your exam results? Do they seem as important now as they did back then? Remind them that this stress is only temporary, even if it feels like a lot now. Think how good they will feel when they are over. Let them talk about how their exam went if they want to, but don't dwell too much if things don't go to plan. We cannot change the past, and chances are they did better than they thought anyway. Refocus on what's to come. We've all had a bad day at the office. Even the best athletes in the world have a shocker of a game or a terrible performance from time to time. But what we know from sports psychology is the athletes that recover best from this and don't let it impact them are those that can reflect on what went wrong, learn from it, and then move forward and put their best into the next game rather than beating themselves up about what cannot be changed. It's exactly the same with exams. Simply reminding them that you are there if they need to talk can often be enough. It's also a good idea to ask them what helps them feel supported. Is it reassurance? Just leaving them alone and letting them come to you if they need to? Words of motivation? Everybody is different. Finally, remind them that whatever happens and however they do, you are always there to support them and you believe in them. Sometimes we can put pressure on them without meaning to, even if we mean well. Some children don't like to be checked in on regularly and can find this quite pressurising. Others like lots of reassurance and checking in. It's a great idea before exam season starts to have an open conversation with your child about how they'd prefer you to handle things, so that when the time comes, you can feel more prepared too. The last point might seem really obvious, but we speak to children about exam stress a lot, and many of them say just knowing that someone has their back and that they'll be loved and helped and supported regardless makes them feel more hopeful and gives them the resilience to know that it will all work out in the end. Anything else you can do? Speak with your child's school about what extra support they have during exam time, whether this is revision classes, emotional support, etc. Other parents are a great source of support. They can often relate to how you're feeling and also may have some brilliant tips that you've not thought of. Look after yourself too. It can be really tough supporting your child through exam time, especially if they're struggling, but you can't pour from an empty cup, so be sure to take care of yourself. Plan something nice for when they're over. We all need a treat after a tough time. This helps instill motivation and that hard work brings rewards, but can also help them to cope better if things don't quite go to plan.